Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Christina Campbell, and I am one of the performing arts programmers for Surrey Civic Theatres. We'd like to acknowledge that this series is taking place on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including the Katzie, Kwantlen, and Semiahmoo nations. The City of Surrey and Surrey Civic Theatres, with the assistance of the Government of Canada, are very pleased to be able to continue to provide quality entertainment streaming to you from our digital stage. This ensures we help keep our audiences, staff, and artists healthy and safe. We're proud to be able to support artists in these times where they are struggling to find opportunities to perform. Stay tuned to Surrey Civic Theatres and City of Surrey channels for announcements of upcoming online performing arts events brought to you by the City of Surrey and Surrey Civic Theatres. Find us online at surrey.ca/theatre. Tonight, you are going to hear 5 wonderful musicians from the Surrey City Orchestra: Mark D'Angelo and Nick Robson on trumpets, Richard Mingus on the French horn, Gregory Ferrugia on the trombone, and Andrew Poirier on the bass trombone. So without further ado, please welcome into your homes What a Blast with Surrey City Orchestra.
Hi there, I'm Stuart Martin, Music Director of the Surrey City Orchestra. It turns out that concerts this year look a little different, and they're probably going to sound a little different. Lucky for us, that's what most people say about brass instruments, and if you ask other musicians, that's what they would say about brass musicians. It takes a special person to dedicate their lives to this unusual instrument family. If this is your first introduction or time hearing a brass quintet, you're in for a treat. In order for a brass player to make a sound, they have to buzz through a cup-shaped mouthpiece, which sounds kind of like an angry insect. From there, this buzzing causes the air to vibrate in their instrument, which turns into a note. Now you'll notice that unlike the keys of a piano or the buttons on the instruments like flute or clarinet or string instruments, brass instruments might have a couple of valves or just one long slide, but they can still manage to play all the notes. That's because they can use the vibration from their lips to change the notes so they can play higher and higher. You might even see the faces of our trumpet players go bright red as they squeeze the air through their mouthpieces to hit those top notes. In the orchestral setting, brass musicians oftentimes get to play the big heroic melodic themes, they get to add colorful musical effects, and put exclamation marks throughout the music. Because playing their instruments is so physically taxing, they don't often play an entire piece like strings do. And so some brass players like to take advantage of this time to pull jokes, and they're always ready with a quip to make people laugh. You'll find that the brass players of the Surrey City Orchestra are no exception. Brass instruments are a very versatile instrument, and they get to play in almost every genre of music. And so, tonight you're going to hear a smattering of different styles, including Latin, sacred music, pop, and fanfares along stories, and hopefully a few good jokes. Before we start the concert, I want to take this opportunity to thank the Sheraton Guildford for their continued support and allowing us to record this concert in their ballroom. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the musical stylings of the brass of the Surrey City Orchestra.
Weird music to it.
Have you ever seen
original music to it? Yeah.
Have you ever seen the masterful film work?
No.
You should see it. It's
Really?
It's really cool.
Maybe I did.
It's really cool.
You must have seen, yeah. You've seen that.
I sort of don't like the story because it's pro-Montreal Canadian. I've never been a fan.
It's more anti-Sears than it is pro.
Certainly anti-Trump.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to do that. Do you know Jim Gardner, trumpet player?
Yeah.
I think he plays second in Toronto, TSO now.
He either does or used to.
Or used to, yeah.
He's the guy that invented the guard bag.
Yeah.
The Gardner trumpet bag. So.
Okay.
He had like a set of gig bags for years.
Oh, did he? I didn't know. He was
Just had quad cases.
we went to university together, and he you know, he had a big embouchure change, right? Yeah, when he played when he came into university, he was like a sidewinder. So he put his mouthpiece, he twisted his horn, put his mouthpiece on his mouth, and then twist the mouthpiece like that, and played like that for years and years until I guess he's I'm not sure, his teacher was maybe he was a principal player. He died in a plane accident.
Oh yeah.
Great player. Told him that he had to make a big change, so he went to Michigan and studied with Gala for a year. Totally changed. Came back and totally changed the sound. At least to our story, Jim did the devil's part, read the devil's part. Jeff Thompson.
Yeah.
Jeff, right? Yeah. he played the trumpet part for the recitals and the shows that we did. And he was an amazing demo. Like, he was just like, he had a scratchy voice.
Oh, nice.
I mean, Jim's a character anyway, right? And man, it was a great show.
Has anyone ever met Henry Massey?
I had the honor of playing with him at the VSO maybe 30 some years ago, and he was just wonderful. He'd start to conduct the orchestra, and you could just see the score playing in his mind. He'd just sort of look up towards the heavens and play. I remember his Breakfast at Tiffany's was just absolutely gorgeous. And Pink Panther was a lot of fun. We should do Pink Panther in his honor.
Absolutely.
Cricket Baby Elephant Walk.
This one's been in a few different reductions. So I first arranged it for like 10-piece brass ensemble. Then I did a version for each trombone, for 5 trombones. Then I was like, oh, I might as well make a brass quintet as well. And we had a gig. So I needed
You do it for duo? Can you reduce it for duo as well for your talent?
Solo's good.
Yeah. Solo trumpet.
Unaccompanied. Yeah.
And tape.
Yeah. Drum machine.
Okay, here we go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
We got it.
Anybody ever met Bulls?
You can't play the makers. No.
Probably.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Right now for some
Heavy lifting is over.
complete.
Yeah, we still have hockey night. That's the
Anybody,
heaviest lifting.
Anybody want to hear my brass quintet story?
Of course.
Yeah.
Please.
This is, over the years I've done so many brass quintets, but this one was absolutely amazing. We were set up by the whale pool at the aquarium, and we had a tuba player who I will not name, even though he now lives in Montreal, and he was traditionally late for a lot of gigs, and this was no exception. And we set up the pool, we waited as long as we could, and while we're warming up, the whales came, they peeked over the edge, had a look at us, and no tuba player. So we decided we'd start playing, and we started playing, and as we're playing, there's like no tuba part at all, we're playing marches. And so we're going along, tuba player arrives, has a wire stand, he sets up, puts his music on the wire stand. We're still playing. He sort of figured out where we were, and he came in. On his second note, the whale came up, the beluga whale, and spit all over him. He was so good. All the music went off his stand and into a pile of water. And he just kept going. He didn't miss a note. He was so good. He kept playing. The rest of us were laughing so hard we couldn't play another note. It was like 15 minutes before we could play another tune. Oh, I miss those whales. They were a really good time.
Where's my symbol?
Don't they do actions on cue or something like that? Someone must have given him a cue or something.
Tuba players here, get him!
Yeah. Everybody's a critic, right?
Yeah.
reminds me of my little Dixieland experience I had. I used to do these little Dixieland gigs, and we were doing a thing at the racetrack. And if you've ever played at any of the racetracks, they basically have you playing for like 6 hours at a time, right? And so the person who was playing snare drum and cymbals on the gig was actually another trumpet player. So he's like, okay, well, you're gonna get your first doubling experience here, and you're gonna play cymbals and snare drum. So on the gig, we would every couple tunes we'd switch out, and then I had to do just which being a cymbal player in a Dixieland gig was probably the easiest of all the gigs, because you just have to hit the cymbal and mute it on the offbeat every time. So it's a good way to save your chops, right?
Can I play cymbals on the next one?
Yeah, you can play cymbals on the next one, for sure.
Hold that last one! Hold
Just a
that
little bit.
Now let's do the version that happens after the game.
So how about those Leafs there, Andrew?
Did pretty good this year.
Yeah.
Another devastating playoff loss.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Oh, they'll get it. They'll get there.
Demko. Whoa.
Yeah, that's true.
He was something else.
Yeah. No doubt.
Anybody watching the playoffs?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good
Here's the
one.
first game.
Dallas up 1-0.
Dallas, right there, yeah.
The last time I refused to watch the finals was when Dallas was in it in '99. Pretty much.
That was
in
an
99.
epic series. Brett Hall skating the crease. Yeah. They changed the rule after that. Yeah.
I think if they get Stamford's back, they're a different team, for sure.
Yeah. We'll see.
I think he's a distant relative of mine, actually.
Really?
Macedonian
Yeah.
side. Yeah, like we have like in Macedonia, we have like 6 and 7 cousins that we've never met before at parties.
Oh.
Together, so I think he may have been one of the generation of the ones that I've never met.
That's a good excuse for a trip.
Yeah.
But you know what the hockey story of the year for me was? No offense, Andrew. Was a minor league backup goaltender beating the Toronto Maple Leafs. That was a pretty big. It was a pretty big story.
I have no comment.
Anybody can have a good night.
Yeah, I guess.
That was a good game.
Yeah. They had to go to the third string goalie, and still found a way to shut him out. Pretty impressive.
Hold on to the end.
Lest we never forget.
You'll never let it.
No, I won't forget.
It was almost like watching a playoff game after he came in.
Yeah.
The determination, right? Of the team, just defense, like blocking every shot.
Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine having that happen? He was on Letterman, I think, or not one of the night shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Night shows.
Oh man. Yeah, I guess using the word ole is correct for this type of style. Because, no, seriously, playing Mexican, having played a lot of Mexican music myself, a lot of people say ole when you're talking, people play Mexican music, but actually, ole is not used in Mexico at all. It's more catered towards Spanish music, right? And this is the paso doble, which is a traditional Spanish style, right? So that would be really appropriate for this kind of thing, right? It kind of reminds me of this one time I was playing a mariachi gig for this lovely woman who was reaching her retirement age, and she thought it would be an amazing idea to. She was going to retire. She was going to move to Mexico and spend the rest of her days out in Mexico. So they hired us, a band, to follow her as she paraded up to this Mexican restaurant on Commercial Drive. And at the time they thought, oh, what would be the best way to go with style? They had this party and they thought, okay, well, we're going to rent a donkey, right? So they rented a donkey and they had this the lady on the donkey and they had the mariachi band behind this lady. We paraded her up to Commercial Drive and surprisingly the donkey loved the music and was trotting along with the music. And then when we got up to just before Commercial Drive and the donkey saw all the cars blowing by, it freaked out, the trainer lost the leash and fell back, and down Commercial Drive, the lady went flailing her arms as the donkey went running down the Commercial Drive. So that was probably one of my more memorable gigs, as the mariachi band still playing on, and the trainer's frantically trying to help save this woman. So it's always something interesting to experience.
See, you are.
Alright.
Does anybody know what time?
Yes.
Is anybody really gay?
It's 12:48. Greg, you're going to talk about Chicago?
Chicago, one of my favorite bands. Yeah, I mean, you know, I play in a Chicago tribute band, as you guys know, so I thought it'd be really cool to arrange a piece of music for today. Yeah,
The difference between a tribute band and a cover band?
No. Maybe not. Yeah.
No?
Well, for a tribute.
Royalties.
You know, it's a wonderful experience. Great. I mean, you know, what tunes can you do? You know, the repertoire was 25 tunes and stuff. It's really cool to be able to play something like this in quintet. You know, this is a lot of fun.
Nice.
We have a cut in this, right?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Good.
Well, do it again.
We good? We
No!
The cut. That's
I was so happy with myself I was able to keep the corners till the very end. Musicality aside.
We're gonna beat out there.
That's a joke.
This piece, Spangle Singulator, it's so straightforward and it's such a common piece in the brass quintet repertoire. We all know it. But if this piece goes wrong, it only goes wrong one way, and it's gone wrong one way twice for me, both in front of a very large audience. There's, of course, the repeat halfway through. If you don't talk with your group to say which way it's going to go, it could go either way. And so I've been in few performances where we've agreed to take the repeat and somebody forgets and just goes straight through. And
it works for the first like 8 bars or so.
That's right. And you can never find a way to just cohesively end on a chord. Both times it's just fizzled out like some sort of air balloon. It's going crash landing. Oh boy.
So we are taking the repeat.
We are.
That's right.
This
Yeah.
time, right?
That was a good thing
But then we're all secretly not gonna let him take it either.
Okay, so we're
lots of ornaments and trumpets.
and it repeats to the beginning, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, right. This is Christmas.
Yeah, we made it.
Yeah, that's 1 to 3 for me.